Using the Apple's Foundation Models framework, I want to show you how to make a very simple AI chat application here inside SwiftUI. So what you see here is the UI we are going to create. It is a fully functioning but very simple AI chat application. We have the prompt, a button to send the prompt, then we have the response and a title of the page. Before we create the AI chat app, let's see how it works. Instead of asking what is PensoKit, let's remove the prompt and add our own. I will say give a sample basic SwiftUI code and send the prompt. I will also minimize the device. You have noticed within a short time, we have a response from the model. So the underlying technology is using the Apple's Foundation Models framework. Let's, for example, ask a generic question. I will remove the prompt and say what is life and send it. With the new prompt, we get another response from the model that answers everything about life. So this is basically what we are going to build in this video. Let's go to the project navigator and create a new file. I'll select this folder, control click it, and choose the option new file from template. I will leave the option as iOS and create a SwiftUI view. Let's call it AI chat. Over here, I will define these two properties, one to get the response and another for the prompt. With this example, we set a placeholder prompt. Next, I'll select this guy and embed it in another container. We are going to display all the views using a SwiftUI list. We also want to give the screen a title. So let's embed the list in a navigation stack. So with the list inside the navigation stack, I will add these modifiers. First, we set the list style and set the navigation bar title. Then we request the inline option to make the navigation title smaller. If I place a comment here, you can see we have a bigger title. So let's remove the comment. The next thing I'll do is to divide the list into sections. So I will add a section here. When you add a section in SwiftUI, you can also give it a header. For the first section, let's add response. Then I'll add a text here for receiving the response from the model. Let's change the screen to dark mode and continue. Another thing to do for the response field is to add a glass effect. Next, let's add another section. So over here, I will add a section. I will copy this header and paste it here. Then I'll change this to prompt. Inside the section, we can add a VStack and add a text editor here for receiving the prompt. For the text editor, we also add all these styles. You have noticed we also added the glass effect, just like the response field. Lastly, let's add a button for the response generation. Let's add an H stack. Inside the H stack, we can add a button and add a trailing label. For the trailing label, I will also add another H stack containing an image and the text send. Let's also style the button with some modifiers. To do that, we need to select the label and add the modifiers here. So we request the button style to be glass prominent. Then we change the tint to indigo and also add the disabled modifier so that when this field is empty, the button becomes disabled. Let's also push the button to the right by adding a spacer here. Now we have our simple UI. So the next thing we have to do is to implement the AI text generation. So we are going to implement that as a button action. To use the Foundation Models framework to generate text, the first thing you need to do is to create a new session. That will be a language model section. You have noticed we get an error because we have to import foundation models. So by adding this import, you have noticed the error has disappeared. We also have a warning because we haven't used the session we just created. To use the session we just created, I will add the task closure. Next, we need to call the model with the prompt. So we create a response using the response method on the session we just created. You have noticed the response call is asynchronous because, as you noticed previously, it takes few seconds for the on-device model to generate a response for any prompt you enter here. So this is all we need to create our basic AI chat application in SwiftUI. You create a new session using language model session and call the response method on the session you create in order to generate a response from the prompt. So let's test it with the placeholder prompt. What is PensoKit? So within few seconds, you have noticed we got a response from the model explaining what PensoKit is all about. So this is how to create your first simple AI chat application here inside SwiftUI using the Foundation Models framework.